All right, let's get started. As people roll in. Okay, good morning. Happy Monday. It's the top of the hour. So, I don't know if you are in the storm. I'm in New York City. I was supposed to be in San Diego today. Everything got canceled. So tomorrow's going to be a thing. Just giving you a heads up. I'm not sure yet what this week is going to look like for Morning Lives. I'm here today, I'm here tomorrow for sure. I don't know yet about the rest of the week because I don't know what my travel is going to look like, but I will keep everybody posted. And if you do receive morning text message and emails, I'll give you a heads up too so that you don't come on here looking for me. So that being said, I am here today and you are here today, and I'm so glad that you're here. So good morning. Happy Monday. I am Melissa Agnes, and this is Morning Lives with me, Melissa Agnes, a daily space for leaders like you to stay grounded and connected to what's important, to yourself, to your mission, to your vision, to your energy, all the things that are actually important and drive the needle forward on the important, meaningful impact that you are here to make and have on the world. So you are doing work that matters, and in doing so, if you're looking for increasing your capacity to lead with unwavering steadiness, increased clarity, and deeper connection to yourself, connection to infinite wisdom, connection to those you're leading, then this is the space for you. Every morning I am here, Monday through Friday, unless I'm traveling, like maybe this week, at 9 a.m. Eastern, to share one perspective, one truth, one anchored share to help, I don't know, just kind of bring some awareness or open perspective, or help you remember what's real and true and important and what really truly matters. And then we do a grounded drop-in, which I'm really looking forward to this morning because I personally could really use it. So I'll share more about what that is as we move to that section or segment of this episode. Apart from that, I will say that if this show, if these episodes, if these morning lives serve you in any way, if you find them to be beneficial, valuable, please share them with other leaders. We need more aligned leaders in the world, and this is one of the ways to help do that. So today what I wanted to talk about, good morning on LinkedIn. Today what I wanted to talk about, and here's my invitation today that's a little bit different than what I've done in the past, is are you willing to have more of a conversation with me? So I'm going to ask a question, and I'd love in the chat for you to share your answer, whatever that answer might be. There's no wrong answer. So the question is, how often do you listen to your instincts? How often do you listen to your instincts? And in thinking about that question, I'm thinking sometimes we consciously hear our instincts, our gut, our intuition, divine guidance, whatever you want to call it, all of the above. And other times we might not consciously realize that we're hearing it and we still act on it. Versus sometimes we hear it and our brain tells us that it's silly and that it makes no sense, so we do otherwise. It's kind of like we can't convince ourselves of the rationale behind the instincts, and so we don't actually follow them, maybe immediately, maybe ever. And other times it might be more unconscious, an unconscious bias of why you shouldn't listen to it, or why it's silly, or why you just haven't, or in the sense, not why, but maybe you just haven't built up the trust with yourself and those instincts and that intuition yet. So that's a legitimate question, is how often are you aware of that you listen to versus not listen to your instincts? If you want to share in the chat, please do. If you want to just kind of reflect on it with yourself or write down your answers, that's perfectly fine too. The reason I kind of wanted to talk about this today is because even when we practice listening to our instincts, sometimes we don't. And I guess that's something that something I'm experiencing right now. And the more that we do practice listening to our instincts, the more clear they become, the more trust we build with them, the more we can, last week I talked about hearing kind of the gut instincts and the intuition versus listening. So first you have to be able to hear it. Sometimes it's a very faint whisper that doesn't make sense in the brain. And then when you do hear it, you have to choose. It's your opportunity, it's your prerogative to choose to listen to it and to actually act on it. And the more you do that, the more you build trust and credibility with your body, with your system, with your connection to a quantum, divine, God, co-creator, infinite intelligence, infinite wisdom, whatever that might be for you. I think that there's a really big lag on on LinkedIn. So I'm going to also wait a little bit to see what your responses are. So I apologize if you're writing something and there's a lag for me to reply to you. I see you, Judith. Good morning. And here's something too. So I recently had an encounter with somebody professionally, and there was a part of me that I instantly got this kind of feeling or message, for lack of a better way of saying that, and I shared it, and it was a post. And it felt very strong in my system. But the opposition, it wasn't really mine. So the opposition, I was just like, okay, sure. And then a couple weeks later, another encounter with this same individual, and that instinct proved to be full on accurate. I won't go into the details of it. But all of that to say that there's so many different reasons why we might choose to not trust ourselves, our intuition, our instincts, our gut, our divine guidance, etc. And then the other, but it's never wrong. It's never wrong, because it's that thing that we know comes in that's like, there's a reason why our brain hasn't caught up to it yet. I don't know that I'm making full sense this morning. I'm sorry. The other thing I want to say with this is, how often do you consciously ask yourself questions, ask your instincts questions, and then choose to take action on them? So for example, if you have uncertainty around your next steps or around your mission, or there's just a lot of uncertainty in the world right now, right? And so there's a lot of people, I've talked about this last week, there's a lot of people who are looking for answers externally, but the answers that come internally, they come from internal. They come from exactly what we're talking about right today, those instincts. For lack of a better way of saying it, today we're calling them instincts. Every single morning, I breathe. Every single morning, I journal. Every single morning, I tap into myself and I ask myself, here's my goal. In alignment with my goal, what do I need to do today? And sometimes the answer doesn't make sense. Sometimes the answers get more still today. And my brain goes, no, I can't get still today because I have a busy day. I have to do things. You can't make time for stillness. And if I don't, the day will continue to unfold as it always does. But when I do, all of a sudden, more clarity comes in, more instincts come in, more answers come in, more alignment comes in. And that, when I listen to that, it then takes me leaps and bounds towards achieving the thing that I'm looking to achieve, the mission that I'm bringing to the world, or the goal that I've set, whatever it might be. The answer might be to do something that's not on my to-do list for today, right? Reach out to this one person who I maybe didn't think about or wasn't planning to reach out to because my to-do list was big. And if I don't follow it, life will continue to unfold. But if I do follow it, again, quantum leaps, that unfolding, that kind of quote unquote magical unfolding of possibility that otherwise I wouldn't have tapped into. And so, okay, Shauna says 60-40 to gut brain. So 60% gut, 40% brain. You listen to your gut 60% of the time and 40% of the time your brain. That's pretty great. That's a lot more than other people. There are very few times I didn't listen, I did not work, and it did not work out for me. Yeah, right? So that's from Stevie on IG. So the question here, so in the description today, I wrote this. I wrote, how often do you listen to your instincts? This morning lives, I just wanted to have this light conversation around self-trust and how commonly we tend to override our instincts and the impact that can have on both our health, our well-being individually, and the results of what we're working to achieve. So that's it. I don't have anything like infinitely wise to share with you today. I kind of just wanted to pose that question and allow it to be kind of something to think about around, get curious around how often do you listen to them? What do your instincts sound like? What does that voice or that guidance, that whisper, what does it sound like? How often do you trust it? When you don't trust it, what does that look like? When you don't trust it, is it because your brain overrode what your heart or your gut said? And you're like, that doesn't make sense. I can't logically explain that or rationalize that. Nobody will understand that. I don't maybe even understand it, so I'm just not going to do it. How often does that conversation or internal dialogue happen within your system? Versus how often are you consciously aware of, oh, I'm getting some kind of a message here, or I'm getting an inkling, I'm getting a feeling that I should do this thing, and it may not make sense to my brain, but I'm going to do it anyway and see where it leads me. And just kind of opening up the conversation around how often do you do that? And what if you actively tried to do it more? And in our morning lives, we always do a coherence drop-in. And the more you do coherence drop-ins, the more you actually access that awareness. You can hear those instincts, those guts, that divine guidance, whatever you want to call it. Oprah calls it whispers from God, whatever you want to call it. And the more safety you create in your body, which we do every morning, the more you can trust it. And then the more you actually lean into it and take action based on the instinct, not the brain, not the logic that's saying, that doesn't make sense right now, the more you're going to see, to Stevie's point, that it doesn't actually steer you wrong. It might actually take you quantum leaps towards achieving what you're working towards. And it's only by practicing hearing and listening and acting on it that you can develop that relationship, that deep connection and relationship of trust. So that when you start to hear it, you trust it. You know that it's real. You know that it's not fear and logic and brain. You know that it's something deeper. Judith says, what comes from my gut feeling, and 90% I was right to follow it. Yeah, absolutely. Guys, do you have questions? I would love, sometimes I want to just have a morning live where you just ask me questions and we just talk about them. Please let me know in the chat or in a private DM if that would be interesting to you, because I would love to do that. I'd love to just kind of not just come with a topic, but like really answer maybe questions that you've had over previous topics. I'm pretty sure this is our 30th episode, so that's a lot of topics. And we've gone deep on some things, and some things might be new terrain for you. All right. So with that being said, please feel free to continue to add questions and comments and like your reflections in the comments, or DM me as we move forward for today. And as we move forward, let's get still. Let's do our coherence drop-in. And today, the intention is to get curious around what does. Shauna says I am making sense. Thank you. You know, Judith says your gut, what comes from your gut, and 90% you follow it. Shauna says 60-40. Stevie says that, when you don't follow it, it has served you wrong when you didn't follow it, right? It never serves you wrong to follow it. So what does it actually feel like and sound like to you? Let's kind of just get curious. How much more can you open up to actively listening for it, tuning into it being that gut instinct, that divine guidance, that intuition, whatever you want to call it, whispers from God, whatever you want to call it. Because here's what I know to be true. If we start our morning feeling into what we're about to create or what we're bringing to the world, and we get still and we get quiet and we say, what do I need to do today in order to bring me quantum leaps towards what I'm looking to achieve? If we get still and we truly ask that question, the answer comes. The answer comes. And sometimes the answer doesn't make sense, and that's where people go, I'm not going to listen to it. And then what happens when you say you're not going to listen to it? That voice gets quieter, because why would it get louder when you don't listen to it? right? It'll get smaller versus more prevalent. And then you miss out on an opportunity to build deeper trust with the divine guidance, the infinite wisdom that comes in through your body that holds all of the answers in moments of uncertainty, all of the answers that you need to lead in moments of uncertainty. Okay, I'm going to stop talking today. If you guys have more comments to share or questions to share, please continue to put them in the chat. I can't tell you how much I love it and I appreciate it. And with that, let's do our drop-in. Let's do our drop-in with that intention of just getting still and just kind of getting curious around how often do you listen, how much do you hear, and how could you open up and hear even more, be willing to, as a deep leadership skill. So, for those of you who might be joining for the first time, when we do a coherence drop-in, we are simply getting still. You're going to listen to the sound of my voice. I'm going to guide you. You're going to breathe and get into your body and just kind of be with what is. There's no wrong way to do this. And if your body invites you to do something that feels good, do it. Do it, do it, do it. Your body always knows. It's kind of the same thing as the more we trust our bodies, the more we hear what we need to hear, the more access we have to divine guidance, to infinite intelligence, to wisdom, to instincts, to intuition, etc. So please, closing down distractions. If you are driving or you can't shut down distractions right now, come back to the recording at a later date. I publish these for free for you. If you can, shut down distractions and get still, but there's people around, or you're in a public space, or there's a window or something, and you feel silly. Invitation to sit with the silly and do it anyway. To feel silly and do it anyway, because it's a gift to yourself, to your leadership, to your coherence, to your nervous system regulation, which will allow you to show up for the rest of your day in deeper alignment, in deeper clarity, in deeper resonance. And those who might look and go, I wonder what they're doing. That's a little weird. Soon enough, they'll be coming to you going, what is that thing that you do in the morning? Because I really feel the difference in you and I want in. And then you get to lead by example. So that being said, getting comfortable in whatever seat you're in, whether you're commuting, whether you're on a chair, on the floor, and shutting down your eyes or softening your gaze. What we're going to do is simply the halo active breath, which is in through the nose, out through the mouth. In through the nose, out through the mouth. And as you breathe, keep circulating that breath. As you breathe, if your brain kicks in with a voice that starts talking or chitter-chattering, you start thinking, that's great. That means you're alive. And the second that you realize that that's what you're doing, you have the choice to then go, thanks. I'm so grateful that I'm alive. Now I'm going to come back to my breath. In through the nose, out through the mouth. Because as I mentioned, there is no wrong way to do this. There's the practice of doing this. That's it. That's it. That's the best that we can ask for. That's the most that we can hope to achieve. And that is the work. And that is good enough. So on your next inhale in through your nose, and then breathing out, following that breath all the way down your body, so out through your mouth, and feel it sink you deeper into your body. Follow that breath all the way down to the sensation of the chair against your seat, or against your sit bones. So what we're doing here, continue breathing in through the nose, out through the mouth. And just follow that awareness and bring your awareness down to the sensation of whatever seat that you are sitting upon and what it feels like against your body. Where do you feel it more? Feel it more in your legs, in your sit bones, in your feet. Just kind of get curious and feel into the sensations and notice how, if you chose right now to sink in deeper, more deeply into that seat and really allow yourself to be here and be present, to release tension, to let go, that seat's got you, it's not going to drop you, and it doesn't care how much weight you sink into it. So full permission to get still, to get comfortable, and to allow yourself to realize and to remember that you are safe to breathe. Keep that breath flowing in through the nose, out through the mouth. And on your next inhale, through the nose, following that breath up from your sit bones, up your belly, and into your heart space. And if it feels good to you, invitation to bring a hand to your heart so that you can help your awareness go to the sensation of the hand on your heart space. And as you breathe in through the nose and out through the mouth, imagining that it's in fact your heart that is taking in the breath, that it is your heart that is breathing in. So you're breathing in through your nose and you're expanding your chest and you're letting that air come in, that oxygen come in through your heart space, and you're letting it feel so good because this is your life force. It gets to feel good. And as you exhale through your mouth, following that breath down from your heart space into your belly, into the safety, the comfort, the tranquility, the stillness, the quiet of your belly. And so this is the breath pattern. In through the nose, opening up your heart space, out through the mouth, deepening into your belly. In through the nose, opening up that heart space even wider. Out through the mouth, sinking even more deeply into your belly. How good can you allow this to feel? And taking that breath on your own, following it in through the nose, opening up that heart space, out through the mouth, into the belly. And getting still, following that breath. And just like you noticed your sit bones, notice your breath. Notice the trajectory that it is taking in through the heart, down into the belly. In through the heart, down into the belly. Notice it, and notice what you notice. There's no wrong answer, there's simply open curiosity. Can you bring your awareness more deeply into this area of your body? Can you open up your heart a little bit more with every inhale? Can you sink a little bit more deeply into your body with every exhale? Can you hear anything? Maybe it's the sounds around you. Maybe it's the sound of your heartbeat. Maybe it's a gut whisper or instinct that's trying to creep in, trying to be heard. And maybe it's just stillness. Maybe it's the sound of your breath. Just getting curious. Flowing with that breath, keep that breath flowing. Keeping that breath flowing. Allowing yourself to explore a little bit more, to expand a little bit more, to get a little bit more still. and all while letting it feel good. Feel good, feel good, feel good. That's one of the secrets to everything. And as we create this relationship with our body and our stillness and being able to just flow in through the heart and down into the belly and be present with it, that's the connection that we're forming that creates accesses to deeper wisdom, to safety. Last week I talked about safety, 4 levels of safety. It's where we find calm when everything around us is chaos. This is how we regulate our nervous system so that we can lead with potent resonance and unconsciously communicate safety to those that we're leading so that they trust you more deeply. There's so much power in this skill set. How open are you to it? How often do you remember to come back to it throughout your day? There's no wrong answer. And now bringing a hand to your heart. And let's take our moment of gratitude. Gratitude to you for showing up this morning and choosing you and taking this moment of stillness and contemplating, reflecting on our conversation and what it might mean for you and to you. And gratitude to your body for its access to infinite wisdom, to instincts, to intuition, to calm, to safety, to all the things that feel good, that are healthy, and that allow you to take quantum leaps towards achieving, succeeding in your mission and bringing your vision to life, whatever that might be. And when you're ready, wiggling your fingers and your toes and coming back to the screen and feeling free. I'd love to hear how you feel, how this landed. There seems to be an incredible lag today, and we're just going to say that it's a result of the storm that's in New York City that is massively blowing out there, but that doesn't matter, we're still here. So, Shauna writes, the things I don't follow in my gut are the things I feel responsibility for. I hear gut and brain ignores. So she's saying the things that, because that makes perfect sense. What I'll say to that is the more you do trust your gut in the other areas where you might not feel as much responsibility for, the more credibility and trust you build up, and that then you can translate that into those things that you feel responsibility for. In my own personal experience, years ago, I may have shared this in the past, but years ago, I was in a drop-in session, like a guided session with one of my advisors, and my brain told my heart that it was extremely tired, and it was extremely tired of leading. And my heart responded with, great, I'm so ready to take the reins. I'm ready to, essentially it was saying like, I am Melissa Agnes, right? So it was saying that me as the leader, Melissa Agnes, that my system was ready to stop listening to the brain and allowing it to override the heart. Instead of leading with the brain, my system was saying it's time to lead with your heart, to follow the wisdom of the body and allow the brain to follow that, to take the, like heart is CEO, heart and gut, let's say together are CEO. Well, then the brain acts as direct report to the CEO, and it takes action based on that. And I will tell you, from the day that was in like 2022, That was in 2022 or end of 2021 when I had that session. It took me, it's now 2026, it took me several years to finally truly understand how to step into that and truly be that. And I still hesitate sometimes. But the more that we have this awareness, the more we can watch our hesitations, the more we can watch ourselves from outside of our bodies, essentially our awareness, take our awareness out of our identity, from our identity, separate from our identity, and go, oh, isn't that interesting? In this moment, my gut is saying this, my heart is saying this, and my brain is saying this. Which one am I going to choose to believe in this moment? And sometimes the brain overpowers, right? Because it's scary to follow the gut and the heart when we don't have that trust built up. But it's about how can you take micro steps every time you hear it towards building that trust. And it's small steps at the beginning because it takes time. Trust is built over time. So that's what I'll say to that. And then, Shauna says the lag is ridiculous. Yeah, it really is. Let's see if there's any other responses. No. Okay. So just ending with today is leaving you with that question. And it's really open curiosity. There's never any judgment allowed in these sessions, in these episodes. We don't get to judge or criticize or shame ourselves for being more of one or the other, being more heart-driven versus more head-driven, being more head-driven versus more heart-driven. We're raised and programmed in a society that values the brain and didn't put, anyway in the world that I grew up in, I don't know about you, but didn't really put any value to actually deepening relationship and connection with self so that your brain wasn't acting on its own. So you could actually tap into these 3 intelligence centers that exist in your body rather than just listening to the one, the cognitive, logical, analytical mind, and cutting yourself off from the neck down. So we have to take small steps in undoing that programming, undoing those belief systems. And so the question that I posed today is, how often do you listen to your instincts? And what does that sound like? What does that look like? Do you do this dance with your body that goes, my instinct's saying this, my brain is saying this, I can't justify it, right? Do you do this like back and forth where you have to justify it? Or do you just leap? Sometimes, and it's not a definitive, right? It's not black and white. Sometimes maybe you leap, to Shauna's point, and other times maybe the leap might feel scarier. It might feel weightier. It might take more time. And that's okay. What we're trying to do here is just build the awareness. What is the relationship, the connection with you and your body, your instincts, your access to infinite intelligence, infinite wisdom, and how do you go about your days in relation to that connection? That's what I'm leaving you with. You don't have to have the answer. It is open-ended for contemplation, for self-exploration. Get curious and have fun with it. It doesn't have to be serious. It gets to be exploratory, inviting. I am Melissa Agnes. This is Morning Lives with me, Melissa Agnes, where I kind of just show up every morning at 9 a.m. Eastern to give one perspective or share one perspective and to do a drop-in for all of the reasons, coherence drop-in for all of the reasons that I've already explained throughout this episode. If this was valuable to you, come back and join me tomorrow morning, 9 a.m. Eastern, live on Instagram and LinkedIn. And please share it with a leader who would benefit from it. That is my ask. That's the exchange here that I'm asking for, is for you to help share this show out so that we can have more aligned leaders driving their missions forward in our world. And if this is what I talk about, if this is something that you're like, I want to learn how to do this more deeply, more than just showing up for half an hour, on a surface level with me, then please send me a message with the word mastermind, because the mastermind, the Visionary Leadership Mastermind, is now open. Doors close in April. I am taking 20 leaders into this year-long cohort where we go deep into integrating into, essentially, for lack of a better way of saying it this morning, is we have 3 intelligence centers. You're really, really great with your logical brain. Now it's time, our world needs you to get really, really great at accessing your heart, your gut, and leading from wholeness, leading from coherence, leading from alignment, leading from raised vibrations, all of the things. And that's what the mastermind is for. It actually helps you embody that next level of visionary leadership. That if there's any part of your system that's going, this sounds interesting to me, just send me a DM, send me an email, hit me up, and I will share more information. Okay, with that, I will see you tomorrow morning, 9 a.m. Eastern, live here on IG and LinkedIn. I'm so grateful for you showing up today. Thank you for your comments and your questions and bringing this to life so it's not just me talking to a camera. I love that. I appreciate it. And with that, I wish you a beautiful day, and I will see you tomorrow. Bye.